Today we are doing this nail, the water ripple nail that I originally showed when I did that Botanical Specimen nail. This was one of the nails in that group. And this is a nail that has a lot of leeway. So I'm going to just kind of show you the basics of different approaches you can use for it. Well, let's get started with our base color options. I'm going to use this, the Liwa number 153 muted. And you can see this is a very sheer polish and has just a really nice pale gold mag particle in it. And I'm just going to try to get a nice vertical stripe going with the mag powders in this, because I think that helps sort of with that water reflection kind of look we're going for. But remember I said this nail has a lot of leeway? Any of these colors will work just fine as well for that base coat. The Kokoist Terra mag number 57, the Foggy Turquoise, or either of these from the Born Pretty Golden Chinchilla collection. I believe it's 449 and 448. Same feel. My favorite actually ended up being the Kokoist Foggy Turquoise because it has a little more coverage if you're worried about that on the nail for like the base coat. Now we are going to go straight in with our Nail Thoughts Chrome It, because we're doing our chrome layer right after the base layer and then covering that with color. Doing the chrome on the bottom like this will make our individual colors still stand out that we do on top. Whereas if you do the chrome last, it's going to homogenize everything more underneath and blend. And we don't want that for this. Okay, this is a new chrome series I found on Amazon and I love them. It's names you can't pronounce, but it's super easy to use. And this is not a I don't know, typical silver one. It is an aurora, so it's a little more like those icy glass kind of silvers you get. And it's just perfect for this nail because it just doing it underneath all of the colors gives all of the colors just this weird luminosity, reflective quality. So you just put a generous amount on there. This is not like the Kokoist ones that have a lot of that adhesive quality. So you just put it on there, let it dry, and then just rub it in with your gloved finger and you are good to go. And more of it is going to flake off when you do this if you are used to using any of the Kokoist liquid chromes. And I will have all of these listed in the Amazon tutorial list in my Amazon storefront. And this whole set of liquid chromes is already in my favorite chromes list on Amazon. And this is another one where if you don't, it's still kind of speckly, it's not stuck everywhere, you can go back in and recoat it with it and then buff it out again. These are just really nice and simple to use. It's, a cheaper formula than the Kokoist. It doesn't have that adhesive quality really to it, but it still works and they're simple to use and they're nice colors. And you can see I have some thin top coat there, the View Gel top coat. If I was a smart person, I would be doing a thin coat of top coat over my chrome so that in case I mess up this layer, I don't mess up the chrome. But I decided to live on the wild side and I just went straight in with my colors. So I'm going to use number 55 and 52 from the More Glassing collection. This is a non-wipe tint collection, which is super cool because it means you can do chrome straight over it, etc. And this is available at Sweeties. Now, it's important, the blue is number 55. It's really important that you have a darker inky blue like this. I did one with a lighter, brighter blue, and it just made it look too fake, and it didn't really sell the sort of body of water effect as much. So if you don't have a inky blue like this, you may want to mix a little bit of a transparent black in with a brighter blue tint. And this is just a great lime green. This is number 52. And just notice the pattern I'm doing on there. I went in with the darker blue. I did like the top half, plus I swooped all the way down to the bottom on the left with some brush strokes. And now I'm going in straight in with the lime green with the blue still wet. And so I'm sort of wet blending these. And that just gives us an interesting, again, sort of with that silver underneath, the aurora effect, that glassy body of water reflective thing. And it looks more, gives it a more natural look. Okay, I'm going to pop these in real quick because I just want to show you more variations on how you can set up these base layers to just give slightly different feels or looks to it. That one has some lace gel in it, the actual liquid air dry stuff that you put on a wet over a wet top coat, not what they've again relabeled poke gel for now. Now it's raindrop gel, and now people are calling it a new lace gel as well. It's not, it's poke gel. Anyway, this type of stuff, the actual wave gel, it's usually called, or lace gel. I did that under there before I did the chrome, because then that kind of lessens it a little. It's not as sharp. On this one, I've gone in and I actually took a dry brush and swirled my blue and green together. So I'm already starting to get those rings for like the formation of there. And it gives a little silver circle reflection in there, which can catch the light interesting when we start doing the 3D clear gel on top. These are just a few more variations of ways to really sell that water reflective ripple thing, because it's a hard effect to kind of get to work. And let's face it, circles are a bitch to do on these. So, yeah, I figure any help in getting the circle started and any help of adding to that depth and the complexity of how water ripples across the surface is a good thing. Okay, now we need to start adding our textured 3D clear water ripples. You can use the Macart sculpted gel paint. The Kokoist clear accessory bond works as well. I'm using at least, like a 12 millimeter liner brush. Just load that brush up, and we're going to start from the smallest circle. And I like to place, I think it looks better if it's sort of off to the side. I don't like centering it right in the middle of the nail. And this doesn't have to be extremely neat, because we are going to go in with another texture gel over the top to get the smaller, more wiggly textures going on. We just want these to be the bigger bump ups of the 3D-ness of the rings of water. And I apologize, my big fat left hand that needs to be doing this delicate line work is getting in the way of the focus of the video yet again. I've tried to fix this and I can't. So, yeah. After you get about, 2, maybe 3 circles going around the initial center blob, so you can start spreading it out more, because that's how these rings are going to look in real life. And you can go back in and rework some of these. None of these, they don't have to be the exact same, like extruded shape, feel, height. This is a natural water ripple going through, from a drop of water going into a body of water. And there you can see on the end, I'm doing the final ones that really has a lot of space between it. And I am going back in and just running my brush through any of the blobbiness that I had from laying the stuff down initially. I don't do a lot of line work on nails, all right? And some people are great. Like I said, I'm a scribbly person, not a this line means everything person. But luckily, we're covering these up anyway. So you have room for mistakes. Okay, I'm calling it. I'm good. I'm done with my evil line work. That is what I have for the nail. That is good enough to go on to our next step. You are going to need a stiff, sort of bristly texture brush. I really like this Miss Pink Nail stuff from Amazon. It has a really clear, clarity thing to it. Any kind of that core Imbo gel, that's from Sweeties. See how stiff that is? We need a very stiff, clear texture gel. The problem with this stuff is you need to cover it up as soon as you scoop something out of there. This stuff cures in like a couple minutes if you have strong lights on. I ruined my first little pot of this. Like, it will start to cure on this brush as I'm using it, just slightly, but I have to clean out kind of half cured nuggets out of this brush. And that's just a cheapy brush. I'll have to see if you can get them on Amazon. I got these, I think, on Temu or AliExpress for a couple bucks, but I really like them for texture stuff like this. So that's what I'm just smearing this on. That's covering up. It's just giving more ripple effect. And because we're doing these swooped horizontal curved lines across it, we're getting an even cooler effect because of the chrome in there. and maybe the cat eye. Who knows? Everything's so covered at this point. I'm not quite sure what is doing what. I know the chrome is doing a lot. We are getting this very interesting cutting through that shine. I don't know what the right scientific terminology for that is, but we just get this double shine effect to it. And once you kind of get your initial like smear of all of that on there and your initial like swooping following the circle pattern, kind of just go in, clean it up a little, and make sure you like your arched horizontal teeny tiny texture line work. And that is the original one that I just picked up, and you know, the one we just did. And each one of these turns out a tiny bit different, but I just love how those horizontal lines cut through the reflective thing about the chrome, and it just sort of like doubles it, does a really cool weird optical effect with it. Now, something else that's cool to do, I didn't do this on the original one. I'm now going to go back in with a slightly thicker top coat. I like the Zombie King High. And while the texture stuff is still wet, I haven't cured that final layer yet. I am going to basically kind of re-smooth out some of the areas because it's going to give us that calm, reflective area back into all of this. And yes, I was almost out of frame the entire time I was doing this. And it's blurry. Yay! But you can see I'm just going over some of the 3D parts of the water rings. And that's kind of calming it back down again. So that's helping us get that difference between the big calm ripple and more of the in-between shimmery parts. I really liked that effect in the end. It worked really nice. And it's easier to do than trying to get everything perfectly smooth on that first go around. Oh, and here's some of the little chunky monkeys that start curing in my little texture brush. It's wild how quick that stuff cures. Anyway, just so you can see. There you go. Little chunkies. Okay, our nail's done. So let's just look at some of the varieties. And these were all just experiments. I don't like all of these. This one's okay. Needs more work. I was just doing diagonal lines instead of doing rings. This was the one where I did the more brighter blue, and I also did a purple chrome. I mean, it's an interesting texture nail. Doesn't really work, as much for a water nail. That one I did the texture, the fine texture first, then the rings. It looks too unfinished. This one I did really like. This one I tried to do more of like squished it into an ellipse so that had more of a perspective look instead of looking straight down on to the water rings. And here's that's the original and the one we just did and the sort of unfinished one. Okay, go make some water ripple nails.